Diddy party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote, if you
really?
have one. Yeah.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So,
Because the feds recently published evidence that Ashton Kutcher not only participated in these freak ops, but also allegedly assisted Diddy in silencing his victims, he became embroiled in some Diddyisms in the most bizarre way imaginable. With all these explosive claims and new witnesses coming forward, it appears that Ashton is not the innocent man that he has been portraying. His arrest and impending trial have sent social media teams into a frenzy as everyone weighs in on the drama, but the miss saw the noise. One person's silence is screaming Ashton Kutcher now. It turns out that Ashton has been keeping some wild secrets under wraps, and the truth is beginning to come out. Everyone knows that he has been tied to Diddy, who was recently arrested for some very shady activities. Diddy and Ashton have a long history together. In the early 2000s, while Ashton was busy with his MTV show Punk, he thought of playing a practical joke on Diddy while he was scouting for the next big pop group and forming the band. Diddy didn't like it and asked Ashton to abandon the plan, which he did. Fortunately, the small video and combination ended up fostering a friendship between the two.
I gave him a call one day and I said, I heard that you are going to punk me, and I just don't think that's a good idea. I
don't think that's the way you said it. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, well, then you tell the story.
I'm pretty sure that's not the way you said it. I don't think that's a good idea. Is that what you said?
As the years went by and they were having a great time together, going out to parties, running, and shopping, it became evident that Diddy loved Ashton. When Ashton was listed as one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people in the world, Diddy was quick to praise him, saying that Kutch is a sounding bow is a new media mogul, and I like him. He is a quiet, calm swab, but considering their lengthy history, we are yin and yang, and I'm in your face, mogul. Given the gravity of the case, several legal experts believe Ashton's silence over Diddy's arrest is a wise decision for him and other celebrities.
Surprised? Haven't heard from him?
I'm not entirely surprised. I think there's a whole slew of people that P. Diddy had interactions with or worked with over the years that are hesitant to come forward. I think there's lots of reasons for that. I think one of the main reasons is, what will this sort of association do for my public image? A lot of celebrities, I think, really rely heavily on their public image. And with that comes, financial ramifications, possible loss of opportunities, brands that might not want to work with you if they come forward and possibly defend him or maybe try to, explain some of his actions. So I think there's that. But then I also think there's probably a hesitancy for a lot of people to be called, even as witnesses, even if they didn't partake in any of these activities, to provide information. I think a lot of people are hesitant to come forward with that because that comes with a lot of other forms of exposure and,
However, the truth is, did Ashton know what was going on with Diddy? It appears that he did in an old interview that has come to light, in which Ashton was questioned about Diddy's renowned parties. The interview has been making the rounds online since 2019. Ashton wasn't having any of it, so he swiftly shifted the topic without revealing any information. Sean Evans had Ash and on Hot Ones and attempted to price some information out of doing exclusive events.
Party stories, they're our favorite genre of anecdote, if you
really?
have one. Yeah.
Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell. So, can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over punked, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you, everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out, watch football together.
The skeletons in Diddy's closet have fans wondering if Ashton is just playing coy. However, what's even more bizarre is that some people are contacting the police to look into Ashton's anti-trafficking group. When his close buddy was charged with the same horrible acts, how can he claim to be an advocate for victims? The hypocrisy is evident, and people are calling for answers. Nevertheless, the indictment actually stated that Diddy had brought in some accomplices for his shady dealings. According to the documents, Combs and other associates of Combs Enterprises used their position of authority and prestige at Combs business to threaten, intimidate, and entice female victims into their orbit, frequently under the guise of a romantic relationship. in order to get victims to perform prolonged sexual acts with male workers, which Combs refers to as freak-offs. Among other things, Combs used force, threats of force, and coercion. With the help of Enterprise's members and associates, Combs transported and caused to be transported commercial workers across borders and internationally. As a result, the fact that Ashton assisted in planning one of Diddy's well-known white parties in Beverly Hills on July 4, 2009, is now raising a number of concerns about his potential involvement in Diddy's shady activities. People are beginning to question whether Ashton's involvement in the Combs empire extends beyond party planning, but more significantly, he doesn't exactly have a spotless reputation. In 2017, Ashton and his wife Mila Kunis found themselves in hot water after writing character letters for their That 70s show co-star Danny Masterson, who was accused of saying to women in 2003. Although Masterson was eventually sentenced to 30 years in prison for his crimes, fans were quick to criticize Ash and Amila for supporting someone with such serious accusations, and it undoubtedly left many people with a bad taste in their mouths. Kutcher wrote that Masterson has been nothing but a positive influence on him throughout his life. In our 25 years together, I don't remember him ever lying to me. He has taught me how to be honest and face problems head-on, as well as how to resolve them and move on. Danny is someone who always supports you when you need him, even though I know that the judgment has been found guilty on 2 counts of gray by force, and that the victims are very much in need of justice. I hope that while determining his sentence, my testimony to his character will be taken into account. Additionally, Ashton wrote, "I can honestly say that no matter where we are or who we are with, I never saw my friend be anything other than the guy I have described." Meanwhile, Masterson was described by Mill as an incredible friend, confident, and most importantly, an outstanding older brother figure to me. She also wrote that his compassionate nature and ability to offer guidance have been instrumental in my growth both personally and professionally. Unfortunately for Ashton, those letters became public, and fans were outraged that they chose to support someone who was accused of such heinous crimes. The couple was forced to post an apology video on Instagram, in which they attempted to clarify that their remarks weren't intended to minimize the trauma of the victim. But by that point, the damage had already been done.
We are aware of the pain that has been caused by the character letters that we wrote on behalf of Danny Masterson.
We support victims. We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so in the future.
A couple months ago, Danny's family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years so that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They were intended for the judge to read and not to undermine the testimony of the victims or re-traumatize them in any way. We would never want to do that. And we're sorry if that has taken place.
But unfortunately for Ashton, AM fans weren't ready to let them off the hook in the end. Ashton had to step down as chairman of the board for Thorn, his anti-trafficking organization. He founded Thor back in 2009 with his then-wife Demi Moore, who by the way faced her own controversy after being caught locking lips with a minion anyways after their divorce. Mela got involved with the organization too, but she had to step down as an observer on the board. But here's where things get darker. There's more to Ashton's past than just supporting the wrong people. He's also been tied to the tragic death of his girlfriend on February 21, 2001. Ashton had a date with a 22-year-old Ashley Ellerin. However, instead of arriving at Ashley's place at the agreed time, Ashton showed up 2 hours late. He noticed her red BMW convertible parked with the lights on, so he figured she was home. He even peeked through the window and saw what he thought were red stains on the carpet. Little did he know those were blood stains. Unaware that Ashley was lying lifeless inside, Ashleen assumed she was ignoring him because he had lost track of time watching the Grammy Wars with a friend. In reality, Ashley had been brutally stabbed 47 times. When Ashton heard the devastating news the next day, he immediately went to the police, completely shaken. He later testified in court saying, "I went to her door, my fingerprints were on the door, and I was freaking out." But that being said, Ashton was never convicted of Ashley's murder. It turned out that Michael Gullo, known as Hollywood Ripper, was the real culprit. But here's where things get seriously creepy. One of the accusers of Danny Masterson, in a chilling Instagram post, Chrissy Carol Bixler revealed that she was aware of certain sinister details surrounding Dear Ashton. Did you forget that I was there when you contacted Danny on February 2, 2001 on speakerphone? I heard everything you said, including the plan, and I think you're just as sick as your mentor. I know the secrets your role model holds for you that could lead to your demise. Fans were shocked by her post, which implied that there might be more to Ashton's involvement in that tragic night than anyone realized. She elaborated on her statement in an Instagram comment saying, "Yes, he was in his car for more than an hour outside of Ashley's house talking to his manager about what to do to protect Ashton's career and reputation. He then called Danny. I heard the entire conversation. Law enforcement is aware that what I'm saying is true." Chrissy wasn't the only person leveling accusations at Ashton. Her friend Aaron Smith-Levin also shared a YouTube video that revealed more details about what allegedly transpired behind the scenes. According to Aaron, Ashton lied about what actually happened that night in order to protect himself. And if he had come clean, authorities might have caught the Hollywood Ripper sooner, possibly preventing him from taking more lives. It's a terrifying thought, and Ann's claims have only fueled the fire surrounding Ashton's involvement in that tragic situation. If that is the case, the real question is why the LAPD would cover for Ashton. Some hypotheses suggest that it is because he is purportedly a member of a cult, which I am unable to identify due to YouTube policies, but here's a hint. It begins with an S. Remember how Ash and Amela supported Danny Masterson? Well, Danny was a part of that same cult allegedly, and the women he violated were former members. A lot of folks online believe Danny may have been tasked with recruiting Ash and Ale into the group. But did Ashton take Danny up on that offer? Well, Ashton and Danny were very tight. Not only did they work together on that 70s show, but they also co-invested in a restaurant. Plus, Ashton performed at the cult's annual Christmas Stories event in 2003 and 2004, which benefited the Hollywood Police Activities League. It's enough to make people wonder if Ashton was more involved than he's letting on. And as for the case of Ashley's passing, well, some fans think it was the members of the cult who swooped in to save Ashton. One Redditor wrote the Lip supposedly has deep connections with cult officials and has been accused of covering up crimes for the organization in the past. I wouldn't be shocked at all if Ashton made a call to Danny that night and was blackmailed into writing the letter that said Ashton's got way more disturbing skeletons in his closet. It's the fact that he made a bet to French kiss Mela, who was 14 years old. FYI, Ashton's older than her by 5 years.
Funny is when she was 14 when we started the show. I was like 19, right?
Right.
And they're like, "Okay, you guys are going to be making out in this scene," and I'm like thinking, like, "Wait, this is like slightly
I was
illegal,
gonna say that's
right?"
probably your first kiss ever, right?
It was my first kiss. Why don't you tell them what bet you made with Danny about our first kiss?
No, it wasn't the first kiss. It was like a second or third kiss.
It was the first. It was like the first week.
No, it was not the first week.
Whatever. Let me tell you what happened.
No, let me tell you what happened.
No. Okay, so I've never kissed a guy. So I was so. I mean, Ash was attractive, and I was a 14-year-old little girl, and I was extremely scared for my life.
Sure.
And he was very nice about it. He was like, "Oh, don't worry." So I was like, "Okay." Then Danny goes and goes, "Dude, I'll give you $10 if you French kiss her." Why wouldn't you stick your tongue?
Ashton has been under scrutiny since Diddy's arrest, and it appears that his marriage may be in jeopardy. Ground speculations started to swirl when the couple was spotted out separately with their kids in Los Angeles on September 20th, 2024, just days after Diddy's arrest. Well, fans quickly jumped to conclusions thinking divorce might be in the horizon, but Ashton digging his own grave and might be considering a split to protect herself and the kids. However, sources close to the couple are insisting that these allegations are totally baseless. One insider claimed that the allegations are false, and another source said Ashton has no involvement in any of this. He doesn't belong in this conversation about Diddy. Ashton has only seen Diddy at a handful of social and business events, all of which have been documented by the media, so who knows what's really going on behind closed doors. So for now, it doesn't look like Ashton plans to address Diddy's recent legal trouble anytime soon. He seems determined to steer clear of another Danny Masterson situation for himself. However, there's a chance Ashton might have already talked to the government. Back in April 2024, he was spotted in Los Angeles right after the feds raid to Diddy's house, and many fans speculated he was in town to cooperate with authorities. One source even mentioned he is expecting a subpoena since they have been good friends for 20 years. With everything happening, it's a tense situation, and only time will tell what Ashton will decide to do next. But FUI, according to the prosecutor bail letter to the court, the authorities have been in touch with a long list of witnesses. As witnesses to date, the government has conducted interviews of over 50 victims and witnesses, many of whom saw or experienced the defendant's mistreatment. Many of these witnesses corroborate one another, and their accounts are similarly consistent with other types of evidence discussed below. The government only expects that number to continue to grow given the investigation, which is now public, is ongoing. But at the end of the day go in, and Diddy's case has the potential to bring down everybody in Hollywood. Everybody knows that he surrounded himself with people who could help him run his enterprise when Ashton's anti-trafficking organization doesn't seem like it was established to help victims anymore. The fans have been all over it. They've been commenting, maybe it's time we look into Ashton Kutcher's human trafficking and child trafficking work, considering he's best buds with the people like Diddy and Danny Masterson. To be honest, Ashton Kutcher has been on the wrong side of history and has been at the scene of multiple crimes. This is crazy. What do you think about the feds? Will they arrest Ashton for this, or do you think he will blind snitch and receive a plea deal? Leave a comment below, and then watch this following video. Music.